Good evening, this is GCN English News Edition, and you're watching with me, Ning Hoi Kim Kongsai. First, the headlines. No joint meeting on Manipur. Home Ministry holds separate talks with Kuki-Zo MLAs and Meitei Naga MLAs. Kuki MP demands withdrawal of Manipur police from Mongbung and Sizang villages amid rising tensions. News in detail. The must talk about joint meeting called by the Union Ministry of Home Affairs MHA with MLAs from Meitei, Kuki and Naga communities on Tuesday to find an amicable solution to the ongoing conflict in Manipur ended up only exposing the deep schemes that still exist between the Meiteis and Kukis. Multiple sources confirmed to the print that instead of holding a joint session to resolve differences between the Meiteis and Kuki-Zo communities, as was previously planned, representatives from the MHA led by A.K. Misra first met separately with Kuki MLAs. Misra, the Home Ministry's interlocutor for Manipur, was accompanied by other MHA officials and BJP's Northeast in charge Sambit Patra and Manipur in charge Ajit Gotchat. After their meeting, which lasted for over 2 hours, a separate short meeting was held with the Meitei and Naga MLAs. During the two meetings, MHA stressed the need to restore peace in the Hill State and said a joint meeting will be held again soon. A statement issued by the MHA in the evening said a group of elected members of Manipur Assembly representing Kuki-Zo, Mar, Meitei and Naga communities met in New Delhi today to discuss the current scenario in the state. The meeting unanimously resolved to appeal to the people of the state belonging to all communities to shun the path of violence so that no more precious lives of innocent citizens are lost. A source privy to development said only 4 of the 10 Kuki-Zo MLAs were present in today's meeting. The Kuki-Zo MLAs had requested an exclusive meeting with the MHA at this juncture, which was accepted by the latter, the first sources said. The Manipur Assembly has 60 MLAs, of which 20 are Meiteis, 10 Kuki, and 10 from Naga community. The Kuki MLAs requested the MHA that since they did not get enough time, they could not consult their constituents. Other Kuki MLAs as well as the civil society organizations, CSOs, about their stand. They conveyed that they do not want to engage in any discussions with the Meitei MLAs without consulting the CSOs. So, they wanted to have a separate meeting with MHA officials instead of a joint one with the Meiteis and Naga MLA. A second source aware of the development said, of the 4 Kuki MLAs who attended Tuesday meeting, 3 were from BJP-led Pao Hokip, a minister in the N. Biren Singh government, Nemcha Kipgen, and Ngursang Lur Senate. The 4th was Haukolet Kipgen, an independent MLA supporting BJP. The Kuki MLAs were asked about their position on the situations in the Hill State, the first source said, adding that 6 of the 10 Kuki MLAs could not attend Tuesday meeting as they were informed only on Friday. There was not much time as some already had engagements that they had committed to, the sources said. The BJP Meitei MLAs who held a separate meeting later with the MHA representatives included T.A. Satyabrata Singh, who is also the Speaker in the Manipur Assembly, T.S. Biswajit Singh, who is the Environment Minister, and T.S. Basanta Singh, among others. The Naga MLAs included Ram Muiva, Awongbo Nyumai, and Eldiko. The Meitei and Naga MLAs were asked for their views on the prevailing situations in the state, and leaders from both the communities asked for amicable solution to the conflict. The Kuki-Zo MLAs have been pressing for a separate administrations for them for peace to return to Hill State. Earlier on Tuesday, the Kuki People's Alliance, which has 2 MLAs in the Manipur Assembly, while endorsing the central government's proposal for talks with MLAs of Meiteis, Kuki and Naga, reiterate that Kuki MLAs will steadfastly advocate a rightful claim to Union territory with legislative powers, a necessity born out of compulsion given our territorial segregations. Tuesday meeting follows Union Home Minister Amit Shah's statement on 17 September that the roadmap for resolving the Manipur situations in the coming days is already prepared and the solutions can be resolved through dialogue between the Meitei and Kuki communities. The Kuki-Zomi MLAs have been pressing for separate administrations for them for peace to return. This should be the steadfast standpoint of the Kuki-Zo MLAs in the meeting. Manipur has been witnessing ethnic clashes between the Kuki and Meitei communities since May last year, following a solidarity march called by the All Tribal Students Union of Manipur to oppose the demand for Grand Scheduled Tribe status to non-tribal Meitei community. While the tribal groups including the Chin, Kuki, Zomi, Mizo, the Mar and Nagas enjoy ST status in Manipur, the non-tribal Meiteis do not. So far, the violence has claimed over 250 lives and displaced close to 50,000 persons. The Kuki MP Ziribam Tamenglong and Nonay KIJTN has sought withdrawal of Manipur State Police from Mongbung and Sezang villages. KIJTN stated it is compelled to issue a notification expressing its displeasure against the policy of the Ziribam or State Police Department regarding the encirclement of Mongbung and Sezang villages. The State Police created havoc in these two villages by ransacking food provisions on the 10th of July this year. And 3 days later, Manipur Police Commandos along with CRPF personnel attacked the villages, leading to loss of CRPF Jawant. It added that the tribal CSOs of the area and various organizations have requested the concerned authorities that any deployment of Manipur State Police should not be allowed. And if central forces are to be deployed, they should consist of the Assam Rifles. However, 14 October personnel of police commandos and CRPF was deployed and stationed in the Ahmedabad area amidst oppositions from the tribal people. The Kuki MP along with other tribal CSOs has repeatedly requested the authorities that state police commandos should be restricted to Meitei areas only until the situation is subsidized. But our appeal has had no effect. Mongbung and Sezang villages have been intermittently attacked by Meitei militants over the last 2 months, totaling almost 20 attacks, and Manipur police commandos are openly abating these attacks. Bombs with serial number printed were dropped inside the villages. Therefore, the Kuki MP Ziribam, Tamenglong, and Nonay makes a fervent appeal to the authorities to withdraw the deployment of security personnel from the Ahmedabad and Latinkal areas of Ziribam. If the deployment of security forces is required for security reasons, Assam Rifles or Army personnel may be stationed. Any police that could leave Mongbung and Sezang villages vulnerable to attacks by Meitei militants and police commandos will not be allowed at any cost. The Kuki MP Ziribam, Tamenglong, and Nonay have made their best effort to de-escalate violence since the outbreak of violence in Manipur, and any untoward incident due to sectarian policy will be the sole responsibility of Ziribam police administrations. The health department has reported 89 dengue positive cases in Lamka until October 16, 2024, with 3 new cases detected on October 16 alone. Statewide dengue cases in Manipur has recorded 1,513 dengue cases so far, with Imphal West 997 cases, 3 deaths. Imphal East 295 cases, Lamka 89 cases, Bishnupur 44 cases, 1 death. Other districts: Dandil 4, Kangpokpi 5, Senapati 3, Tamenglong 2, Nonay 3, Taubal 43, Kaksing 24, Ukhrul 3, and Kamsong 1. Dengue-related deaths recorded are 2 in Imphal West and 1 in Bishnupur. Lamka dengue cases from January to October 16, 2024. Lamka has reported 3 positive cases in April, May 3 positive cases, July 7 positive cases, August 17 positive cases, September 13 positive cases, October 1 to 16, 46 positive cases. The district malaria department has taken measures to control the outbreak, including source reduction activities, foraging in affected areas, monitoring water storage containers. The latest dengue positive cases were reported from Rangkai Road, Hilltown, and Tuibo. Foraging was conducted in these areas on October 16. To prevent dengue, residents are advised to keep surroundings clean, remove stagnant water, use mosquito nets, wear protective clothing. The malaria department is conducting case studies, foraging, and blood sample collections to control the outbreak. While there is no specific medicines for dengue, prevention measures can effectively control the spread of the disease. According to an announcement made from the Department of Information and Publicity, KSO Churachandpur dated October 15, 2024 to Churachandpur District Private Schools or Colleges Associations, all private, aided, and government schools and colleges in the districts will observe a full holiday on October 17, 2024. This day marks the 107th anniversary of the Anglo-Kuki War 1917 to 1919, also known as the Kuki Uprising. To commemorate these significant events, school administrations are requested to declare a holiday on October 17, 2024, and avoid any important activities on this day. The Anglo-Kuki War was a significant uprising against the British Empire during World War I in the northeastern frontier of India. The Elections Commission of India has paid that the ramp fees for vehicles used in Assembly constituency for within Lamka districts at the DADC office in Tuibon. This payment is related to 18 Lok Sabha elections held on April 19, 2024, which covered 4 Assembly constituencies in Lamka, 57 Hinglip SC, 58 Churachandpur SC, 59 Saikot SC, and 60 Singat SC. For the elections, 274 polling stations were used instead of the initially planned 50. Various vehicles such as Saktiman, bus, truck, bolero, pickup, Tata Sumo, Tata Winger, EcoVan, and others were rented, and their fees were paid at the ADC office. It is expected that vehicles rented from the Elections Department will continue to receive payments soon. In the second phase of Lok Sabha elections on April 26, 2024, polling personnel overseeing police stations in 55 Tipaymuk and 56 Tanglon AC received rented vehicle fees. Specifically, 37 polling stations were used in Tipaymuk and 41 in Tanglon. Additionally, 234 polling personnel were deployed in Persol district divisions for the 2-phase Lok Sabha elections. The Congress in Manipur on Tuesday welcomed the talks held between the Meitei and Kuki legislators in Delhi to find solutions to ethnic crisis in the northeastern state, but said that this initiative by the Ministry of Home Affairs should have been made much earlier. State Congress President K. Meghachandra also said that Chief Minister Biren Singh and Union Minister Amit Shah should have been present at the meeting, held for the first time since ethnic violence broke out in the northeastern state 17 months ago. We appreciate the talks as we have hope for peace and normalcy in the state. However, it would have been better if the meeting had been called earlier. Precious lives could have been saved if it was held earlier, Meghachandra told PTI. More than 220 people, including members of both the Kuki and Meitei communities as well as security personnel, have been killed in the violence that broke out in Manipur on May 3rd last year. The meeting would have been more purposeful if opposition party members as well as civil society organizations were also included. They, the center, should have invited the opposition. From the current state of things, It points to a meeting of government legislators only, the State Congress chief said. Those who attended the meeting included State Assembly Speaker Thoksam Satyabrata Singh, Tongbram Robindro, D.S. Basanta Kumar Singh from the Meiteis side, and Kulki MLAs Letpao Hokip and Nyancha Kipgem, both state ministers. The Naga community was represented by MLAs Ramuiva, Awongbo Nyumai, and LD Kul, the sources said. The Congress leader claimed that the absence of Amit Shah and Biren Singh at the meeting would have an impact. Biren Singh is the head of the government and he holds the home portfolio. His absence was required. The absence of Shah shows the negligence of the government and made the meeting incomplete, Meghachandra said. Kuki legislator Paulilal Hokip, who was not invited to the talk, said the meeting is a welcome step, but the issue in the state is political and it needs to be handled politically. Hokip, a BJP MLA who is vocal about the rise of the Kuki state, the matter should not be treated as a fight between two villages. It has come to a point where sections of citizens have been cleansed and so much killing has happened. The United People's Front, UPF, a Kuki militant group and one of the signatories of the suspensions of operations SOO with central and state governments, raised the issues of separate administrations for the tribals of Manipur. We have consistently prioritized the establishment of the district administrations within the Indian Constitution to ensure that our identity, culture, and resources are constitutionally safeguarded and that our people can live dignified lives and flourish in the same manner as others, the UPF said. The SOO pact was signed by the center, the Manipur government, and two conglomerates of Kuki militant outfits, Kuki National Organizations, KNO, and the United People's Front, UPF. The pact was signed in 2008 and extended periodically thereafter. Manipur police have arrested 3 individuals for their alleged involvement in the burning of the SDC Kumbi office on September 26, 2024. The arrested persons are Moirang Tim Azai Kumar 22, Waheng Bam Prabhakar 27, Command Tim Jesper 23. They have been remanded into police custody for 4 days with efforts ongoing to apprehend other suspects linked to the incident. Meanwhile, security forces have intensified search operations in the fringe and vulnerable areas of the Hill and Valley districts during an operations in Lerong Telpita Uyokching, Thobal district. Several weapons and equipment were recovered, including 1 AK rifle, 7.62 mm with magazine 1 SLR rifle, 7.62 mm with magazine 1 SMG rifle, 9 mm with magazine 1 pistol, 9 mm with magazine 1, 12 mm, bore single-bearer gun, 6 hand grenades, and 58 live rounds of ammunition, 2 detonators and 2 tube launchers, 1 wireless handset, Baofeng with charger, 1 bulletproof jacket, 2 iron plates, and 5 arming rings to ensure the safe passage of essential goods. Security forces facilitated the movement of 107 vehicles on National Highway 37 and 81 vehicles on National Highway 2. Security convoys were deployed in sensitive stretches with strict measures in place at vulnerable points. Additionally, 110 nakas or checkpoints have been installed across the Hill and Valley districts. No detentions were reported for violations during these operations. Union Home Minister Amit Shah has said that the time has now come for the police system to come forward to protect the fundamental rights of the country's citizens. Shah stated, the police system should be alert to minimize the crimes happening within the borders of the country, and the time also has come that justice should be delivered to citizens in the shortest possible time. Mr. Shah was interacting with the probationers of 76 regular recruits of the 2023 batch of the Indian Police Service IPS in New Delhi yesterday. During the interactions, the Home Minister said at present through the Crime and Criminal Tracking Network and System, CCTNS, 99% of police stations of the country have become online. In the new three criminal laws, emphasis has been laid on timely justice, increasing the proofs of convictions and maximum use of technology. The Home Minister also said that the judicial process has been made time-bound in the new laws and 5 years. The new laws will be fully implemented in every police station across the country, including installations of technology, development of software and training. He added that after this, the process of justice will be completed within 3 years, following the registrations of FIR. He also mentioned that earlier Jammu and Kashmir, Northeast and left-wing extremism affected areas were the three source, but now the government has succeeded in reducing violence by 70% in these three places. He said that today Indian agencies have complete dominance in these three hotspots. Mr. Shah added that Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Viksit Bharat in 2047 would be a terror-free and drug-free country, having internal security and will ensure protections of human rights and rights of citizens. During the interactions, trainee IPS officers shared their experiences related to training with the Union Home Minister. A major fire broke out in Mulwarwan village of Kriswat in Jammu Kashmir on Tuesday afternoon. According to police, 68 houses were damaged by the fire. Locals in Mulwarwan village of Kiswar sought help after the fire destroyed their houses. It is a very difficult situation. Everything has been burned. The government should give something and help, says an affected family member. Another resident said after 2 o'clock yesterday, this incident happened here. Now, they were spending the night under the roof. Some are still in the fields. Today, the district administration has brought some tents here. Some people have been provided tents here. His father said they will spend the night here. Some people are on the road. Some are in the jungle because it is the winter season. People cannot stay outside. It is very difficult. I don't know what to do. I am old. I have a lot of problems. I am in a bad condition. I am not able to sleep. I am very tired, said a woman. Meanwhile, the residents are being relocated and temporary shelters have been provided for them. The administrations provided relief materials including food, clothing, and medical supplies for the families. Kiswar Deputy Commissioner Rajesh Kumar Savan said, after receiving the calls, we sent our disaster management teams to the spot. Earlier, we got to know that 40 houses have been affected by the fire. However, today we found out that 68 houses have been affected. We will start the relief and rehabilitation work from now onwards. The rehabilitation process aims to provide immediate support and long-term solutions for the displaced residents. The government has also provided financial assistance to families and enhanced security to ensure safety. India has signed a deal with the US for the procurement of 31 Predator MQ-9B high-altitude long-endurance UAV manufactured by General Atomics. The development comes less than a month after Prime Minister Narendra Modi and US President Joe Biden held talks about the acquisitions of the drones on the sideline of Quad Leaders Summit held in Delaware. The two countries signed a deal worth Rs 32,000 crore for the acquisitions of 31 Predator drones, along with the establishment of a maintenance, repair, and overhaul MRO facility in India. This deal will enhance the surveillance capabilities of the Indian Armed Forces. According to reports, the total value of the deal could rise to 34,500 crore. The project was cleared by the Cabinet Committee on Security (CCS) last week, under which the Indian Navy will receive 15 Sea Gurgers, while the Indian Army and Air Force will each acquire 8 Sky Gurgers. Along with the UAVs, the deal encompasses advanced weaponry such as 170 AGM, 114R Hellfire missiles, 16 M36E9 Hellfire training missiles, 310 GBU 39B or B laser, guided small diameter bombs SDB, and 8 GBU 39B or B LSDB guided test vehicles with live fuses. India has been discussing the deal with the US for many years, but the final hurdles were cleared a few weeks ago at the Defense Acquisitions Council meetings, as it had to be cleared before October 31, as the validity of the American proposal was still that time only. India will be basing the drones at 4 possible locations, including INS Rajali near Chennai, Porbandar in Gujarat, Sarsawa and Gorakhpur in Uttar Pradesh. The US had approved the sale of 31 MQ-9B drones to Indian military at an estimated cost of $3.99 billion in February. The key characteristics of the MQ-9B Predator is its whisper-quiet operations. The drone stands out from the rest because of its stealth feature. The drone can fly as close to 250 meters from the ground without the target even having an inkling. It is there unless spotted. With a maximum speed of 440 km per hour, the drone can soar at an altitude of around 50,000 feet, higher than that of a commercial airplane. The drone's capacity to be sent on extended missions in any kind of weather is another noteworthy feature. The drone has the option to be fitted with air-to-ground missiles in addition to air-to-air missiles. The MQ-9B drone can fly through thousands of miles without refueling and carry up to 1,700 kg of cargo, which includes 4 missiles and about 450 kg of bombs. The drone's manufacturer, General Atomics Aeronautical Systems, claims that it can fly non-stop or hover over targets for up to 35 hours. The US has written to Israel giving it 30 days to boost humanitarian aid access in Gaza or risk having some US military assistance cut off. The letter sent on Sunday amounts to strongest known written warning from the US to its allies and comes amid a new Israeli offensive in northern Gaza that has reportedly caused a large number of civilian casualties. It says that US has deep concerns about the humanitarian situations, adding that Israel denied or impeded nearly 90% of humanitarian movements between the north and south last month. Israel is reviewing the letter, and Israeli official was reported as saying aiding the letter. Aiding the country takes this matter seriously and intends to address the concern raised with US counterparts. Israel has previously said it is targeting Hamas operatives in the north and not stopping the entry of humanitarian aid. On Monday, the Israeli military body responsible for managing crossing into Gaza, Kogat, said 30 lorries carrying aid from the World Food Programme had entered northern Gaza through the Erez crossing. That ended a 2-week period during the UN said no food aid was delivered to the north, and supplies essential for survival were running out for the 4 lakh Palestinians there. A UN official has said that the Gaza is in a state of constant peak emergency. Anthony Reinhard, head of World Food Programme WFP in the occupied Palestinian territories, told the AFP news agency people in the north of the territory were relying solely on assistance, with practically no access to fresh food other than that provided by UN agencies. The US is by far the biggest supplier of arms to Israel, and the Israeli military has relied heavily on US supply aircraft, guided bombs, missiles, and shells to fight a war against Hamas in Gaza over the past year. The US letter to Israeli government, the contents of which have now been confirmed by State Department, was first reported by the Axios website. It is signed by Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. We are now writing to underscore the US government's deep concern over the humanitarian situations in Gaza and seek urgent and sustained actions by your government this month to reverse this trajectory, it says. It states that Israeli evacuation orders have forced 1.7 million people into the narrow coastal Al-Mawasi area, where they are at high risk of lethal contagion due to extreme overcrowding, and that humanitarian organizations report that their survival needs cannot be met. We are particularly concerned that recent actions by Israeli government, including halting commercial imports, denying or impeding nearly 90% of humanitarian movements between the northern and southern Gaza in September, continuing burdensome and excessive dual-use restrictions, and instituting new vetting and onerous liability and customs requirements for humanitarian staff and shipments. Prime Minister Benjamin exchanges snipes Tuesday with French President Emmanuel amid a public rift over Lebanon, where Israel is battling the Hezbollah terror group. The bursts began where Macron upped the pressure on Israel to abide by UN decisions, telling his cabinet that Netanyahu must not forget that his country was created by decisions of the UN. The statement referred to resolutions adopted in November 1947 by United Nations General Assembly on a plan to partition the Holy Land into separate Jewish and Arab states. France has repeatedly denounced alleged Israeli targeting of UN peacekeepers in southern Lebanon, which includes a French contingent. Therefore, this is not the time to disregard the decisions of the UN, Macron added, as Israel wages a ground offensive against the Iran-backed Houthi terror group Hezbollah in southern Lebanon, where the UN peacekeepers are deployed. Israel has repeatedly asked UNIFIL to evacuate its forces from combat areas, but the force has rebuffed the pleas. Netanyahu hit back at Macron's comments, saying the country's founding was achieved by 1948 War of Independence, not a UN ruling. A reminder to presidents of France, it was not the UN resolution that established the State of Israel, but rather the victory achieved in the War of Independence with the blood of heroic fighters, many of whom were Holocaust survivors, including from the Vichy regime in France, Netanyahu said in a statement. The two men also spoke by phone, with Macron continuing to push for 21-day ceasefire in Lebanon to get to diplomatic settlement, which he called the only one likely to meet Israel's security requirements, according to the Elysee Palace readout of the call. In the Israeli readout, Netanyahu rejected calls for a ceasefire and said he would only agree to an arrangement in which all Hezbollah forces are pushed out of a buffer zone on Israel's border. Netanyahu and the military have repeatedly insisted that there must be a buffer zone along Israel's northern border with Lebanon that will have no presence of Lebanese Hezbollah fighters, in line with a 2006 UN Security Council resolution. That's all from us tonight, and we thank you for joining our program.